Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies of your view. Hello.
Yo.
Ladies, how you doing?
I'm fine. Yesterday, I
very
was home.
stubborn, you know.
How?
Because the top 5, I mean, you really actually changed your top. I was really shocked.
Yes, it had some
bubbles.
technical issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
So, yesterday, my husband and I were home alone for the first time in a long time. And I just realized that really when they say the home is not about the house itself or the building, it's the people that live in it. So yesterday I was happy to enjoy the peace and quiet, but also missing the noise. You know.
The Lagos noise.
Yeah. the children and their noise making.
So what did you guys do exactly? Just watch
I can't
TV?
tell you.
Can you imagine that kind of
I can't tell you.
I gave him an assignment.
Everybody's giving you the assignment. And we said to her in 9 months we'll hand over the results of the assignment.
No, you should just deal. You know, there's some things that cannot happen when children are around. Like,
can you imagine?
Deal with her very well.
I'm telling you.
It's allowed within marriage. These are things they say don't do outside marriage. It is allowed within marriage. So if you keep yourself...
Your husband alone in the house?
Yeah.
No help.
Nobody.
Oh my God, we got to find a way to do that.
Mariah, I'm sure you've not had that experience since you got married.
Ever.
Yeah, for me, since we got married, this is the first time.
Just
so
both
good.
of you. Oh my goodness, sounds like bliss.
I'm sure you would know what to do with yourself if you have that empty house.
Oh, I can imagine you just be on the bed.
Okay, so for me, this happens a lot. I'm someone that I ship my kids. Even when there's no grandma, I'll ship them off to Mariah's house. I'm good being. I think that it helps me be a better mom if I have a few hours alone. When I come, I can now, give them all the love because I've already taken time to think. Sometimes I just lock myself in the room. I say, watch TV. Just give me an hour. Then I clear my head and I'm able to be a better mother. But when I'm having to do it back to back all through, I begin to shout or vent, and it's not.
Nima Akasha Zebri, how you?
My daughter said to me last night, I got home very late because of Lagos traffic, and she said, "Mommy, can you just not go out again? Can you just be home every day?" And I felt really, really bad. So I am not shipping anybody off. My mom forgets that thing. My mom has been begging me for the past 3 years. Gufran has not been home for holiday, and she's wondering, have we offended you? It's just that the few days I get to be with them, I can't be shipping.
You have them for a longer time.
No, they are in the house, but I'm not in the house. So when I'm in the house, it has to be me. Nobody will come and take them and see their grandchild. I'm going to be selfish like that. I feel for them, but I'm not letting them go.
We have one of our neighbors who actually, she stays at home. She's a stay-at-home mom. And my daughter said, "Mommy, why can't you be like XYZ's mom? Can't you be like XYZ's mom?" And I'm like, my husband was like, right, they're giving you a message. You have to choose one.
But you have to have that conversation in while you're working, because they know why mommy is working, and they know that mommy is giving you time at the period, within a particular period. So, because if you don't have that conversation, they go up with the complex thinking that mommy is doing something, every other thing is more important than me. And that's not true. Everything you're doing is also inclusive of them.
My daughter likes that I come to work and go to pick her from work, because she'll be like, I hope you're coming with your makeup. My daughter does not send and your wig. I hope you're coming with your makeup
and your wig.
Yes.
So you look like my mom is all put together. My mom is
she likes it.
good.
She does not want any stay-at-home mom.
You were doing something else.
I need to do a shout out to Mr. Afolayan. He works with LASMA, and yesterday it just was nice in that madness that was happening at Agege. So they are constructing the railroads from Abeokuta to link somewhere in Agege. And the usual shortcut I will pass and just get to Yanakwaja was blocked. So even Google Map did not know. He kept saying there's roads there till I almost fell in the ditch. And this man, in the midst of all this craziness, was just nice to me. It was just nice. He was just helping me.
God bless you, Mr.
Afolayan. God bless you, sir. And he's such a handsome man.
It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news.
It's fine.
And I want to shout out to
I don't think she's supposed to say that, but I
He's a very fine man.
Nima notices those kind of things in a way that an Ejaba should not.
When you smile,
Pause. Should I tell them what you noticed about somebody in this office?
No.
Let's preserve our hijab. No, let's preserve our hijab. But Nima sees things. Things that we should not see. Nima will cover the entire face, but she's seeing.
It's because she has covered everywhere, so her eyes are...
Let me just shout out to Mariah. I wanted to forget, but I'm not going to forget. You know, so a lot of times we don't share our needs. Yesterday I needed to pay for a ticket, and really legit was low on cash. Look at Mariah. Don't look straight face. She bailed me out, and she bailed me out in a way that God will bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. Because people don't talk. I wasn't joking when I was saying it, but you took it serious. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank God. It's Christmas.
Well, let me come and buy something now. What do I need?
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Adoki, is it Adoki?
Adoki.
Adoki. Under interrogation over $1.06 billion Malibu deal. Low revenue, a threat to budget. Buhari halts NDDC board cleared by Senate. Governors renew pledge on new wage. Missing kid. Ondo police arrest 10 for arson. Okay, let's look at Adoki once and for all. Okay. He came back yesterday again.
Yes, to some they said he voluntarily came back. To some it was, but we know that one is the fact that he was arrested in Dubai by Interpol, and that he volunteered to return to face his charges based on the legal advice of his lawyer, senior counsel Ozekome, who is representing him. So when he got here, of course, our people with their usual Janjan style. They took him from the airport, took him and detained him. And the AGF is saying, I'm not even aware he's returned. And he is saying, yes, he's come to face his Malibu deal.
Other reports are saying he didn't come voluntarily. He actually was escorted by Interpol. So a different version.
In fact, which is why I found Mozekome's account in the paper very funny. Because he kept insisting, my client came in voluntarily. He bought his ticket, yes, maybe based on your advice. But Interpol escorted him home. This matter, he left this country 2015. And this matter has been on since that time. Right. If it was something you were thinking was right, you would have returned home. But you were advising him just in 2019 when Interpol arrested him.
I want our current AGF also to be aware that, because the Yoruba will say, that means what happened to the previous wife is available for you to. Any activity done by the AGF, another administration will come in and probe what you've done. So as much as possible, try not to please the system and just live by the rule of law you're meant to live by, because it will live after you. Now Adoke is being treated like a criminal. He was supposed to be the one upholding. No, but he's not. He's Minister of Justice.
You don't know what the power of the Attorney General is. I don't know of Minister for Justice, but you see the power of the
AGF. He's constitutionally backed. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the Punch. National Assembly, 37 billion naira renovation. Members adamant approved 22 billion naira for farmers, road repairs, and others. I was looking for this story, the picture story. Applicants at the recruitment by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Abuja. It shows a lot of rowdiness, but I was looking for the story. I didn't see the story. Father of 17 children impregnates daughter in Punch. Police arrest 10 for looting Ondo burnt church. Cheating. JAM plans to deploy drones for UTME. Obaseki Shoebu's supporters reject APC peace panel.
I am now a drone supplier.
And Malibu scam EFCC arrest Adoki and arrival. Let's talk about this. The human interest story.
Yeah, so really this man, 46-year-old man, he's a father of 17 children from different women. And then he got his 16-year-old daughter pregnant. Mother said she's been living with her since she separated from the man. And 6 months ago, the man came and insisted that she stayed with her. And she did everything to get her daughter back, to no avail. So she went to visit her and noticed the girl was bleeding. And the girl opened up to her that her father had been sleeping with her constantly. When she got pregnant, took her to a quack doctor for an abortion. And she hadn't stopped bleeding since then. He's been taken to the police station, of course, and arrested. And he also said, yes, he had been sleeping with his daughter frequently. And he was trying to hide.
He came to take the girl.
So he tried to hide the pregnancy by taking her to a quack doctor, a father. I mean, sometimes we say, be careful where you send your children, but if you send your children to her father's house, is this what
very sad? It's very sad that
multiple women already means he has issues.
Of custody happen. Normally, the person who's closest, like a girl, should be with her mom. But you have to go through a court process when you have a father, because he cannot be arrested for kidnapping his child. And then this has happened.
There's another story about the drones.
Yes. I'm now a supplier of drones. We use drones to solve many problems. There's a good news attached to this, because aside from according to them, they plan to use drones to fight cheating during exams.
How did they plan on using it?
The breakdown wasn't clear. Okay. However, they have also generated 20 20 billion naira from UTME exams. And
what they said was that the CCTV wasn't working, wasn't because they
No,
actually,
their
the CCTVs are
yesterday's
being
report compromised.
That's what
the
the CCTVs are being compromised. So they believe that the drones will help them better monitor who and who is cheating so that they can actually then accost them.
they cannot compromise the drones, Abi. But we are using drones to fight everything. Security, we're using drones. So
Can we just move on? Because there's some questions that she just wait for the regulators
they
to
don't
come.
have answers to it.
Let's find one more story.
There's a good
in
contractor that can
Punch.
speak English.
Okay, should we take why the Senate is insisting,
Oh,
the
yes.
National Assembly is insisting
yes.
that, that's 37 billion.
Please tell us.
Okay, so first of all, we have NECA. NECA is the Nigerian Employers Consultation Association. So they are saying they are really concerned that this is misplaced priority. SERAP is saying they'll definitely take this to court, to put a stop on giving them this 37 billion. But the members of the National Assembly are saying, see, your criticisms are uninformed, not well informed. You do not know what it is that we're going through. The whole place is a mess. It's falling apart. After all, there are other agencies who have asked for much more, and there was no public outcry. Is it this tertiary one that we have asked for? This one that we're asking?
In addition, Mariam, they said that they are always using hand fans. Haven't you noticed that they're using hand fans in the chambers? Let me finish. Let me tell you what the report said. Said the AC is not working anymore. That they're using hand fans.
We saw the chamber.
Number two, they said somebody had actually given them a 340 billion naira budget, but they now chose this one. That this is a very good amount. And thirdly, they are overseeing 10.6 trillion naira budget. How can they be in an environment that is also
that is the thing? So when that line for me just made me understand that for them they feel like we have access to this much money. That's not true. You're meant to be in money. It's not your money. It doesn't belong to you. You are in service. When you are a senator or you are a House of Assembly member in any form, you are a servant of the people.
They know.
No, they don't. They don't sound like they do. They expect us to understand that they're being magnanimous. If they don't spend our money, then they should. That's the tone. It's not right. You're selling.
Ladies' son, very quickly, trouble brews for 22 former governors. Did they mention the names of the governors? No. Okay, JAM generates 20 billion naira in 3 years. Great danger ahead of Nigeria. Danjuma Alafin Adebanjo warns. I've received requests to dethrone Sanusi, says Ganduje. Igbo groups fault multiple checkpoints in Southeast, and EFCC arrests Adoki, ex-justice minister, on return from Dubai. Major headline, the 22 former governors.
Yeah, so the Attorney General of the Federation is just saying that we have 3 former governors who have been convicted and 7. Of course, we know them, Joliyame, Dare, yes. And also that right now, over 22 governors are being probed, and it just shows government's
anti-corruption.
Yes, this administration's anti-corruption stance is very strong, and they will make sure that no politics or favoritism will stop this administration from making sure that anybody found wanting will be properly probed. And
good news, we've had 1,636 convictions under this administration since 2015. That is what the AGF is saying. So they've actually been fighting corruption.
I guess not all the stories make the
No,
papers.
but not all the prosecution fights corruption. Also, it's about institutions.
Any other story in
the Kano State story. So Ganduje is interested in dethroning the Emir of Kano.
No, he said that he has been under pressure.
They have been pressuring him. He's interested in dethroning him. They let them write petition. Is what he's interested in rather than face governance properly in Kano State.
So my worry is the people of Kano, and what are they saying concerning this? Because he's their traditional ruler, and Ganduje is their governor. So they voted Ganduje, but they have their traditional ruler. So they should have a right to speak up concerning what they actually want, and they have informed people, a large population.
Do you think that Sanusi can be dethroned now and there will be peace in Kano?
I don't know.
Well, that's a conversation for another day. Let's move on to Vanguard.
I think you should think it well.
Malibu PNID Adoke returns arrested by EFCC. Controversy as Buhari orders rejig of NDDC board. Missing boy in Ondo Church. Police arrest 10 suspected arsonists. Minimum wage. You can't give us December 31st deadline. Governors tell NLC. And NEC to take 2 trillion naira pension fund for roads, power, and rail projects. So they want to use part of our pension. In fact, according to them, they have 2 trillion naira in the pension fund. And they are hoping that they can use that money to begin infrastructural developments in the country. Yeah. All right.
The NDDC.
Yes, go ahead.
So the president has, requested that the NDDC be audited and that the board of the NDDC be rejigged. And That was according to Femi Adesina speaking on his behalf, and everybody from PANDEF to Ijo Youth Forum, every one of them have been saying the same thing. So they're saying, well done, finally you are doing what we've been calling out for, because they are all screaming that there's a massive corruption within the NDC, and now they are to report to the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, that's under Akpabio.
All right, who has the update on the Ondo Church?
Yeah, so a little update. About 10 people have been arrested by the police, and they're suspected to be part of the arsonists, that burned down the church. And also the police said that they caught many of them transferring property from the church into their cars. Looting the church as well. So they're in the police network.
Moving on to Daily Trust. Closure of Tin Can Port Road. Haulage costs to North up by 32%. Manufacturers accuse officials of sabotage. Nima, do you have that story?
I do.
Let's just stick on that story.
So due to the construction that was supposed to happen, the road has been closed for 3 days. According to the chairperson of the task force, Kayode Okwefa, they have closed a part of the road, and only one section to Tin Can Port is working. And due to that, of course, the cost of moving things up north would increase. It's increased to 32%. And we living in the area, we can see the hardship, because yesterday I couldn't drive home. Yeah. I parked my car and biked home and biked to work this morning and joined Miriam to work. So it's tough there already, and hopefully they said it's a palliative measure that they're putting in place, and within a few days it will open up again.
Okay, Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. The tributes at Tribune's book launch. Danjuma Adebanjo Alafin orders X-Ray Nigeria. Danjuma says, if I tell you what is happening in Nigeria today, you will no longer sleep. Alafin says, if you don't want to be criticized, you don't have to be in government. And Adebanjo says, Buhari dominating us, not ruling the country. Okay, let's move on to The Guardian. Outrage as senators back Buhari on fresh NDDC board. I think there's no other story. I think we're taking practically all the stories. Governors pledge to commitment to payment of minimum wage. Who has that minimum wage story? Anybody read that?
Okay. The NLC has given the government a deadline of December 31st, and they are going back and forth with each other. I think this NLC, the governors are beginning to take them for granted.
No, but the governors don't. They say they don't have, so it's not about taking for granted, though.
And there was
those that have.
Has said that they will definitely, the conversation has started in each of the states, and definitely, eventually, none of them will pay less than 30,000 naira according to what has been approved. However, the conversation is ongoing, but they cannot give us a 31st of December deadline, because it's all depending on who can pay what.
And
so
the modulation.
Conversation has started in each state, and that's pretty much what
forward to the 2020 constitutional amendment that is already budgeted for in the constitution, to see whether governors can now control resources within their state. Exactly. Because this whole excuse of I don't have money, we are going to Abuja, it should stop already.
Okay, that's all we can take this day. You see a picture here of our president and the emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamini. That one I want to remove. He's here greeting the president.
He's a very brilliant man.
Fantastic. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. Let's go on a break now. When we return, unfortunately, we're told that our celebrity guest had to cancel. We're not sure exactly why, but we really were hoping to have Tokwe Labi in the house today, but she had to cancel early this morning. And we're getting feelers of the reasons why, but we're not sure. We can't say that on TV until we confirm. But we really hope to have her sometime very, very soon. We're going to break now. We'll come back. We'll discuss a few other hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So UNHCR is running a campaign dubbed The Greatest Gift to raise funds to support displaced families. To give a better understanding of the realities these people face, we have a short story which we played yesterday for you, and we'd like you to watch it again. See this.
What does human flesh taste like? Everybody I tell this story thinks I should have asked her this question. It was on my trip with the UN Refugee Agency to Kakuma refugee camp. I was told of a woman who had fled her country. The story starts in a small village. One evening, when her and her husband were hosting members of a church, a group of militia stormed into their little house and accused them of hosting Banyamulenges, a minority ethnic Tutsis who the locals believed to be witches. They turned to her husband, called him a snake for hosting these Banyamulenges, dragged him out, made him kneel, and shot him in the head. They bound the hands of her 2 daughters, aged 7 and 5, and carrying a 1-year-old on her back, they set off in a long file behind the men.
We were forced to work for a week. We did not even know how it was a month. The evil men abused us, called us snakes, beat us. I was raped. Our feet peeled and bled from walking. Our clothes no longer covered our bodies.
The militia finally brought them to their camp. The Mai Mai were led by a personification of evil called Mokolo, who made her his wife promptly. He threatened her with death, then threatened to eat her children.
The Mai Mai men would be gone for days, and when they come back, they would come back with captives who they will kill and ask me to cut in pieces and boil for their food. The men told me they would boil my child. They made me light a big fire and put a big pot on top of it. I begged and cried, but they laughed like Satan. They made me place my baby into the boiling pot, and they all stood aside. As the water boiled on my baby, it was very painful, while she screamed her lungs out.
I'm a father, but you don't have to be a parent to feel your skin crawl, to feel your revulsion at this. Thankfully, Mokolo asked his men to remove the baby, but not after she was burnt and her skin was peeling off. The men came back with a lot of alcohol and some personal belongings of people they'd ambushed on the road far away from the camp. They didn't bring any humans, but they told her that the following morning they would boil her 1-year-old.
That night, the whole camp drank the alcohol, and by morning, they were all asleep.
She took that opportunity to escape. They walked for days, stumbling through the dark forest until the daughters' feet were swollen, their souls peeled off.
Mother, why can't I die?
The 5-year-old cried.
Why can't I die and sleep? After 12 nightfall, we met forest guards and told them about the Mai Mai men. They were shocked and scared. The guard gave us clothes to wear, and a few of them helped us to get to the border. We are here now. We are away from those evil men. My children, the smallest is 8 years old and can't recall it. But the other 2, now 13 and 15, remember very well. Sometimes they wake up screaming. Sometimes they are fine. Sometimes they are not.
I think about her story often, and the stories of so many other women, children, families, who've undergone such horrific journeys, who have lost their dignity and now struggle to reclaim it.
We can help women like her with medical assistance, psychosocial support, and emergency relief items.
Thanks for staying with us. So we showed the video yesterday, and we wanted to show it again because we felt it's important, especially in this holiday season, for Nigerians to support these cause, to help these women who have gone through this horrendous experience, to have something they can at least start their lives over. I know
it helps us to be grateful when we realize that, because we can tend to think, oh, things are not working for us in our lives because we've not achieved what we want to achieve, or we've suffered some loss. But when you watch clips like this, you understand that somebody out there has it worse. And we have a lot of them at the IDP camps that have it worse. A friend of mine said she watched the clip, but she couldn't continue watching it, that she had to switch off the TV and come back after the clip was done. I think we need to watch these things because people go through this and they are in Nigeria and they might not have, you might think they should be sharp, they should be able to get up and find a business. When you have 3 children dependent on you and you have nothing to do, sometimes you have to depend on people like us that have a little to help out.
It's also important that you give whatever you have, no matter how small. I said it yesterday. no matter, the Prophet Sallallahu used to say, even if it's as small and useless as a camel toe, you don't know how useful it might be to someone. I recently gave out things that I thought were too old to a neighbor, and she came back and again and again. So please, no matter how small, don't say I don't have enough. Maybe those people on the TV. No matter how little it is that you have, give it to a genuine cause. Find that genuine cause like the UNHCR and give it. I prefer, I have others, and you know,
yes,
no matter how small you have.
You know, sometimes I like when you said that no matter how small, because many times some of us also feel that what we may be giving is inconsequential or would not make any difference. But when many people come together, you know, and you can fill a basket if you all come together with your little widow's mite to help people like this. Just for me, mental health is really important. I'm so happy that this aid goes in supporting these women, you know, giving them psychosocial support, as they say. It's important because sometimes you can move from a bad situation to a good situation, you can move to a better house, but mentally you still need support to be able to, you know, move.
I know we tried
from
to
that.
get some details on how people can reach out. We'll get those details to you as soon as possible, so you can check us online, and then we can see how you can be part of this.
Google the UNHCR.
Yeah.
Google
right.
their
UNHCR, that's the United Nations
High Commissioner for Refugees.
We'll try and post it just so that you don't have clones that you're in case Google.
That's all we can take. When we come back, we'll start our normal topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. An editor recently tweeted saying mothers have really done all of us a disservice by lying about their happiness in marriage. According to her, we are now stuck with entitled men who can't take care of themselves, but are looking for that free-spirited woman to force her into cooking. What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation 070-8066814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So do you agree that you feel our mothers have lied to us, making us feel as though they have this blissful marriage? I have been married to your father for 40 years. I have been married for 40 years. You must take this learning from me. You know how they give us all that story? And you actually think it's a blissful marriage. But really and truly, they went through a lot of process, but they don't tell us that. But sometimes they don't. So in your view, do you agree with her, or would you think that some mothers actually do tell us the stories? Who would like to go first? Okay. Nima?
I think they were contented. And I think that's what comes across like they didn't tell us, because they learned to deal with...
Content or just bafalong?
And that's contentment now. Bafalong is that I've accepted my lot. I've married this man. I'm going to find a way to make this work. And so they stay contented with their lot in life and manage what they have. And they can't, if they portray the stress of marriage, then they will live frustrated all through. So what they do is try to be positive about the challenges they are going through. What the children will see is my mom is doing well. They will love themselves. They will hug themselves. They might enter the room and go and argue with each other, come back again and show you a good side of it. So you might not see the entirety of the challenges they are going through. It's not a deliberate attempt to hide the reality from you. It's just them trying to deal with the reality of their own challenges as it comes. Same way we are doing it right now.
They did not do us any disservice. Their lives were none of our businesses in the first place. So it's not something you call your child, sit down. So we growing up, I heard my mother's stories, not from her talking to me about it, from her talking to her sisters whenever one of them visited. And you know, it was long distance, those days no phone. Whenever one come in 10 years, they will not sleep. So me, I'm a good, my ears are on the ground, everywhere. I'm learning from it. I learned from my aunties like that, but nobody will call you, sit you down. Thank you, Auntie Bimbosha, for being an exception. I'll be telling you their lives. It's none of your business. You will grow into your own. If you hit a block and you talk to them, they might then open up to you. But they did you a service by protecting you from the realities of their lives. So you don't have to deal with their issues.
What I hear her say is that sometimes we don't tell our stories. People need to share stories to help so you don't make the same mistakes.
Not necessarily to your children.
That's why I said that. They were not trying to hide anything from us. It wasn't a service or disservice matter. It was just that they were already inside the marriage. They already had children, and they were facing challenges, and they thought about it that this is how I'll cope with it. They won't sit their daughter down to tell daughter what my challenges are, because the daughter cannot advise them. So they might talk to their friends, talk to their siblings, but
I think I agree with this tweet, the person that tweeted this, that we really do have, parents have done daughters disservice in so many things, not even just marriages. Let me just take us a little away from marriage. Some people, when you're about to have your baby, there's this thing that they first check you. What's it called again? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know, in all my life of you get pregnant, you go to the hospital and you have a baby, no woman has ever told me about that check and how painful it is. Women tend to just keep some stories to ourselves. I don't know if it's to protect you, but I feel, yes, but the protection does not work. I think it's better to be upfront and prepare someone for it.
They tell you labor is sweet.
Yeah, and to be able to tell the signs. So when it comes to things like marriages, like for me, because I lost my dad at a young age, all I heard about my dad was, if I were to describe my dad based on the way my mom used to tell us, he was like a saint, an angel that fell from heaven, and this world was just, you know, he was too good for this world. Until I grew up, and then I'll hear stories from other people. It wasn't a perfect marriage. They had their issues, but it would have been better for me. Okay, at that age, when I was really young, it was good to know that, to think that my dad was a perfect man. But then, you know, when you grow older and you're going through something in your marriage, and then you go and meet your mother and say, can you imagine, I'm going through this, I can't take this. She'll be like, what is it that you're going through that other people are not going through, or your father didn't do worse, you know? And then you're in shock.
But you know, Mariam, just sorry to cut you off. I just remember a story that I know of a family, that the mother was always used to drum it into her children how useless their father is or was. She didn't hide the issues from her kids. She opened up to, your father did not do this, I was not paid the school fees. And now, growing up, I've seen how all of us turned out. They grew up with the resentment for the father, such that they never acknowledged anything, even though the man did try. He did quite a bit for that family. But the children never, there was this disrespect, even to a point of death. No, right. The point is that, so if she had hidden those negative energy that happened from her children, maybe at least they would have had a semblance of a happier home. But because of that resentment, I was deposited in those children at a young age. Those children grew up even hating everything about their family and their father.
I get what you're saying, but let's be careful not to mix these things up. Okay. So there's one where you tell your children how things are to prepare them, and then there's one that you're just bitter and you're almost creating hate for, you know, a partner. So let's say, like as you said, your father has not paid the fees, your father does not do this, your father doesn't do that, but the reason he's unable to do this is this. I have this friend, I'll use this particular, she used to say to me that, thank God for my mom, she does everything for us. You know, the house that I live in right now, she pays the rent, my school and everything. Then I said, how about your father? How were things when your father, she said, when my father was alive, it was much more, we had a lot more. I said, did it ever occur to you that maybe, because many fathers do that, give the rent to your mom and your mom pays, give school fees to your mom. She said, you know what, I never thought of it that way. And then now that father is not in the picture, you just think that mother has always done it. So there's that difference of someone being bitter,
is important,
you know?
because it happened once. I bought a pair of shoes for my daughter. I think a whole shopping for her. And so our auntie was saying, have you said thank you to your dad, to your parents? And she was like, no, not to my dad. This is my mommy. Yeah. But this money I know is their father that issues the check. I'm the manager of all these things. So I had to sit down and
let me take this.
Daddy is behind.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Hello. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes, this is Ike calling from Keja.
Hi, Ike. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Because learning is a continual process, and there is no, if we want to be talking about our parents, what about our children talking about us? There must be there's always something to say. There's always a place to, a loophole in every marriage. So for me, I think our parents, they tried 40 years. This new generation marriage is, I'm looking at slave queens and the rest. I don't think 40 years, people can manage 40 years and they are still strong. So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much for your views.
I wanted to say that another thing that being excessively honest might cause is that the children would not want to get married. So I have people that tell me now that, hey, with all the stories I'm hearing on social media about marriages breaking up, about people killing themselves, please, I don't even want to get married. I just want to have a child, I'll be okay. A lot of men now are scared of getting married. A lot of girls are saying, I don't want you to tie my life down. So my mom's life was tied down by my dad. You know, so sometimes when you say these stories, or you're honest in, like, this is how my marriage is, we scare children, or we scare the next generation from embracing what could be a beautiful life together. So there are two sides.
When we scare them, it's almost like marriage is all bad.
No, because
so maybe
if they told me how painful labor would be, I would have opted for CS immediately I was about to give birth. If they told me how painful labor would be, they said, that means you just wake up and
close your eyes and open. That's what you said.
It's very easy. You just push. You push with all your strength. That's all. That's what they were saying. That was what they told me. They say, don't worry. It's not. Women have been doing this thing for years. Hello, I pushed the living. I held everything. I squeezed. It wasn't easy.
How many hours?
So if there was epidural, and that was an option, I felt women have been doing this. So I'm saying that sometimes we have to give people both sides of the story and help them make the decision. Don't hide it.
Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Mr.
Good
Hassan,
morning.
go ahead.
This is a very interesting topic.
Thank you.
What is very clear, you see, no perfect man, no perfect woman.
True.
And in every marriage, there must be its ups and downs. In every marriage, you can see. A woman should concentrate on the good side. You see, in Islam, they say you should always remember good things somebody did to you, instead of emphasizing on the bad side of him, no matter what. You see, our parents are so patient and immaterialistic. You understand? They don't bother about all these things women are looking up to nowadays. They are looking up to the matrimonial stability. They are looking up to the upkeep of their children. They are looking up to the success of their children. You see, if you want to hear more, divorce a woman today. If you like, give her 1 billion naira to give to her children. She will end up blackmailing you with that money because she's still holding you in contempt. And even inside marriages, some women are still holding their men in contempt.
In bondage.
The most important thing in life about marriage is
only this women
we should appreciate and we should look at the positive side of ourselves. No man is perfect. No woman is perfect.
All right.
But
thank you, Mr. Hassan.
So I wanted to respond to that it's based on the exposure of our mothers. They didn't do us any disservice again. They didn't know better. So I did 14 hours labor, totally unnecessary, with a cervix that is small. Now I have problem. But if I had had someone voice, second the voice of my doctors, probably I would have made a better choice. But sitting down in retrospect and looking at them, they didn't know better. In fact, one of my would say, it's for lazy women. I forbid it, I forbid it, I forbid it 10 times. She will do hands back.
Nima, you're right about
they didn't know. That's the exposure that they had. But when it comes to, because the message was, our parents hiding their stories about parenting and marriage from us, the toughness of it from us, and that is being a disservice. For the marriage part, it's really none of our business.
All right.
But going forward, what will we do? As parents now, what will we do with our children?
Before that growing up as a kid, I found the picture of my father, another woman having with the baby, like a naming ceremony, under my daddy's bed. I found it somewhere, and I called my half sister. You see, and she took the picture. I mean, first of all, I think there were 2 pictures. She took one copy to her mom. Me, I showed my mom. My mom said, "Take it back to where you found it."
Exactly.
And nothing. She didn't mention it to me. She didn't ask my dad about it. Nothing. And I'm just wondering. She didn't. As a child, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was daddy just going to kind of represent someone as a kid. But my stepmother got that picture, and all hell broke loose. That's how I even knew
that there was an issue.
My stepmother gave me the issue.
Which would you prefer? Which one? Were you happy you found out?
Because I don't even
It's
know.
tough.
It's
It's
tough.
tough. It's tough because
there's a young girl I'm mentoring whose parents, she was birthed in a polygamous family, and she sees the issues, just her seeing, not because her mom talks to her about it, that her mom goes through, and then blames her mom. Why are you taking all this rubbish? Why is she doing this? And she comes to me every day, Madam, her marriage is none of your business. She's giving you a good life. Is she? Yes. She's done everything she should. She's an amazing mother. She's breaking her back to give her children the best of life. This woman, for me, is now a mentor for me. I look at her story and I look at she's facing her front, looking where exactly she's going. In my marriage at the time, I needed such an advice. I needed such a mentor. So when her daughter was talking to me, they didn't know they were changing my life. I just faced my front. Madam, what are the issues exactly? My children face the issues. Those unnecessary
the question is now to us, as parents now, all of us here have children. Would we share our challenges with our children to help them better prepare for the future?
Let's take that comment after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, we're talking about the fact that our parents didn't tell us exactly the whole truth about their own marriages. But talking and ask the critical question, we are now having kids. What would be our own, what would we do in this situation?
Yeah. For me, I would definitely tell. And it's not, and this is not about telling the person, like telling my child, oh, your father is a bad man or your father is this, but that there are issues that can come up in marriage. So let me use my mother's marriage again as an example. When my dad died, his family just moved everything and left us with nothing. My mom would say, even your toys, they left nothing. So my mom has told me from, you need to have your own. And then when you do have joint whatever with your husband, it has to be legal. It's not just word of mouth, because if it's not there tomorrow, anybody can just come in. So it was something that was important to me. I remember my husband when he got me my first car. And I was like, yeah, and the first thing I looked at was the paper, and then I did not see my name. I was like, it's not really mine. And he changed it. And he said to me, when you did it at first, I was uncomfortable. I was like, is she planning to run away with the car? Is it not her car? But after hearing my story, he understood where I was coming from. Yeah. So I think it's good to tell there are things that are important to better prepare you for your own marriage, not to call someone out and castigate the person. Give your child also the chance to know their father themselves or their mother by themselves. There's a part of them. And then as they grow up, they are also able to tell what is bad or what is good about their
my mother had a story where she's the one that, the house she lives in, she built it, she had a very successful business. But she never really had that conversation with me. It was outsiders that were telling the stories that, your mother was very successful. Please, when you're married, have your own money. See how the kind of house she built. But she never for once
sat
me down to tell me, this is my house. I did everything. I paid this. I paid. She never was outsider that told me. So was that a disservice, or was that in my own favor? I don't know.
I feel it was a disservice though, because I think that you're better prepared when you know. But she didn't do it deliberately. She's just a humble person that doesn't want to seem like she's grooming a child to be aggressive. I know your mom. We chat on WhatsApp, so I know that it's not like she's trying to, So it's not like she was deliberately saying, I don't want to know this. She just didn't think it was necessary for you to know. I, on the other hand, feel that children see things. They see you arguing. They see the fighting and shouting. So they would assume the person with the louder voice is oppressing the other person. So if you don't tell your child that this argument that just took place, mommies and daddies argue sometimes and all of that, and they are able to put it in perspective. They'll end up thinking, oh, daddy is shouting too much, or mommy is always shouting. I thought they say men are shouting. Why come mommy is always one that is shouting? So you put it in perspective for them. One, what I feel that every parent shouldn't do is never report your child, your spouse, never report your spouse to your children out of anger. That I want these children to know This man has done this for me. This woman did this. Your mother left the house for 3 days. She said she went to do business. She has not come back home. I'm the one taking care of you. That is you.
That's bitterness.
That's bitterness. So don't report your spouse to your children out of bitterness. Everything must be done from a positive perspective to give the child a lesson.
I come to you, Nima. Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good morning, Morel. Good morning, Nima and gang.
Morning.
Nima, you're representing us very well last week. Thank you very much for doing a great job.
That's the people.
Yes. My own contribution to this is that while growing up, my dad lost his job. But my mom stood ground for us. She was a businesswoman and a civil servant at the same time. And she had proper representation of our father. That at all times, we had respect for him. Even though he did not have the house we were living in, my mom built it. But even though my father didn't have, my father drove a car and he was shown to represent the family and showed love to us because our mom also showed love to him and she also respected him so much. In turn, in my own marriage, I've been married for 9 years. My wife, I've been married, but I have not been at home all the time because I'm a seafarer. Now, whenever I send money home, because my wife does not work, but my wife will always tell my children that your father is the one who has been providing this money. That is how our marriage has been going, and it has been very wonderful for me. I hardly am at home, but my wife has been doing a great job in taking care of the home, and I always provide the funds.
Thank you very much for your viewpoint. Yes, Nima.
So I was saying that you have to be discerning as children. Be observant. What you see, you learn from. What you need clarity on, you talk to your parents. So growing up, I had this way of thinking that was out of the norm. My sisters would just, and I would be seeing a leftist kind of point of view to things. So my parents knew they could have a conversation with me. And I settled quarrels with them, for them. At some point, my dad would be like, your mom has done something. And my mom would be like, let me just call lawyer to talk to her dad. And, you know, as a child, yes, but it didn't mean that, it didn't mean that the issues, no, it didn't mean that, you know, I was called into counsel about their lives. And I really appreciate that. For me, my child, there's nothing in my life that I should burden her with. She's a young girl. She should see the life from a child's point of view. The flowers, the beauty, life is just beautiful. When she turns a teenager and I notice that she's a child that I might allow such a thing, then I'll talk to her. There was a crisis that happened in the house when I knew my parents were treating me kind of differently. My mom had an emergency. She was dying. And all of us were in the house, but my father woke only me. And Nima, see what is happening. So at that point, I knew maybe I've achieved some level of, it's just the way, I think it's until that child is ready. Don't put that burden on the child.
Let me take this call from Abuja. Good morning, sir. Abdul Karim, I believe. Thanks for calling. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, you're live. Abdul Fattah, are you there?
Hello.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. You're live, Abdul Fattah. Go ahead, please.
This is Abdul Fattah from Abuja.
Yes. You're live. You're on TV. Go ahead, please.
Abdul Fattah calling from Abuja. My contribution is that it is important for each and every one of us to understand that life is full of challenges. And that this life is not meant to fulfill even one desire of a human being. A human being has several desires that we want to fulfill. But God has not created this life to fulfill our desires. Desires are meant to be fulfilled in the next life, in paradise. So we are going to continue to manage ourselves till we are able to, understand that, having the understanding that none of us is perfect. Perfection belongs to the realm of divine attribute alone.
So we have to continue to appreciate and continue to look at the good sides of one another, especially couples in marriage and several other relationship lines as well. So having this at the back of our minds, we appreciate the need to continue to manage ourselves and always look at the good sides of one another and manage the relationship till we are able to, pass on to the next generation.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdul Fatai. Thank you so much.
You know, Mariah, just before you called, and I was thinking that sometimes a child grows and is aware of the circumstances. By the time the child is aware, the circumstances in the home may be different from when the child was born. So let's say, imagine when you were born, your father took care of all the bills. By the time you turned a teenager, maybe mother had to now take up the role of providing. And in your mind, how come my father doesn't do anything and my mother does everything? Imagine if she just kept silent.
The father set up the mother's business.
You never knew. So until the mother now sits you down and tell you, well, he's unable to do it now, but these were the things he was able to do. And because of that...
How about you're under that misconception and your dad is the one putting in that, appreciating your mom in your presence? It will teach you, the lesson will sink more. You know, I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. Because the mother saying it by herself is almost like blowing her own trumpet. Like, hold on a minute. Talk like the example about the humble woman that talk with me of Mariah's mom. Sometimes you don't have to. In life, they would learn. Let children grow and realize things on their own, so that you don't have a situation where somebody is now playing the victim. There was a let me explain something. Hold on.
Let me finish the point. Yes. So if you find yourself in a different in the circumstance where you're an adult or mature enough to understand your surroundings, the parent is able to give you the reasons why. That the reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing for you now is because of the sacrifices the other parent has made. And you know one thing, life is a continuum. It's not just one day. So the day that the mother can tell you, another day down the line, your father can tell you, so
but always express it.
Yes, but the thing is not to pass bitterness, but it's important to pass information.
Bitterness. So we have to differentiate between information and bitterness. Because I wish I was given information. I wish because I think
you would probably have our own house by now.
So
you would probably have your own house because you look at it
necessary, like I'm emphasizing. So it might be you just giving an information, your intentions are innocent, they are pure. And a relative in the house is hearing differently, and that person is close to your child. So I have a relative whose mom and dad separated early. But the version of her mom she has is terrible. And no matter what her mom says personally, it will not change. The only person who had the facts, who could put it clear, is the dad, who's refusing to talk. Because you understand what I mean? So if she was hearing from her dad directly on how important her mother's role was, growing up as a child, I knew my mom was a multitasking woman. And the version of her I heard from my dad till tomorrow would not change. I would not want to sit in my marriage and just relax. My mom would get up. So when my father eats his millions, of course, this babe had to enjoy life. And he would say that, those days, your mom would do this, she would meet me halfway, she would do more than half, and I had all my relatives in the house. We had up to 11 uncles in the house.
Okay,
my uncles didn't know.
We have to take another break. When we come back, we'll try to wrap up on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So as we wrap up on this, I wish maybe my mom should have told me more stories. And because when I was hearing stories about her, she owns stores in Akmongmo. This is a woman that has done poultry, she has done sugar, she has done salt, imported, exported, everything. This woman had a lot of money.
On my own side.
But me, business has never been my thing. I have never even transacted business, buy and sell anything. And I'm the daughter of a merchant. So I wish sometimes, I like what Mariam said. Let us decipher what is information and what is bitterness. And give your children information that would help them. Don't pass bitterness.
But also realize that your children will make their decision. My parents, my mom specifically, gave me information. I just chose not to follow it. So you can have that information and not use it. Right. So it's both ways, because we also have, every individual has a brain and they have this discerning spirit also, and they might decide what to do and what not to do.
But you won't accuse your mom because she didn't have.
I won't accuse. My mom gave me information. Yeah. She still gives me till tomorrow. I am the the one now deciding that I think I want to follow in their steps, and I'm going to beg children, listen to your parents a bit more, so that you don't 10 years after wish that you had done what they said you should do.
Yeah, let Nima one, two things for you.
Okay. I appreciate my parents. I appreciate the way they protected, sheltered. I lived a sheltered life when it comes to my parents. And I appreciate the few things that I learned. But I think exposing me to certain things is what is good. Because I started business at 16, not because I thought business, it was the exposure. It was about making money. It was, so that was
so you learned from experience.
So they made you gather your experiences and then they guided. And, you know,
fantastic.
So
Mariam, last word for everyone.
Just no bitterness. I mean, no bitterness, share love, and prepare your sons and your daughters, you know. And sometimes not the man that is on the bad side. It could also be the mother, you know.
Okay, that's all we can take on the show today. Join us again next week. Today's our last live show.
Until Christmas Day.
So Monday there's your view, but it's pre-recorded. But we'll see you live on Christmas Day. Have a fabulous weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.